This is my thesis. You are Candace, an 8-year-old girl with warm memories of your father. One day you hear sirens and see police cars driving to your grandparents' house down the road. That day, you find out your father has died by suicide when a police officer turns to you and says, "He's dead. Go away, little girl." You spend the next 2 months sitting on your front doorstep, waiting for an explanation and waiting for Dad to come home. Later, adult Candace, when reflecting on her childhood experience, chooses this book as the most helpful. Perhaps it would have given an explanation to her younger self waiting on the doorstep. You are Corey, a 5-year-old boy with fuzzy memories of your father. You find out your father has died by suicide through hanging as you're following your uncle up the steps to the barn loft where your father has hanged himself. Your uncle turns to you and says, "Run home now." Hours later, when your mother comes home and tells you that your father is dead, you ask, "Who killed him? Was it the monster in the barn?" Later, adult Corey, reflecting on his childhood experience, reacts most strongly to this middle book. He looks dead, hollow in the eyes, like he's hanging. This book is not for children. You are Bethany, a baby when your father dies by suicide, so you have no memory of him. But you do remember your mother saying, "You were my Mother's Day gift from hell," because you were such a difficult baby and you were born on Mother's Day. This led you to believe that your father chose death instead of spending one more stressful moment with you. Later, adult Bethany, when reflecting on her childhood experience, chooses this last book as the most helpful. Perhaps the idea of a string of love between her and her father would have helped young Bethany know that his death was not her fault. This is my thesis. 3 case studies of Candace, Bethany, and Corey, all siblings who share a traumatic event but have completely different trauma narratives. Researcher Judith Cohen states that a child's trauma narrative needs to be treated individually. My thesis informs school-based mental health professionals as they endeavor to help these children who have suffered trauma. 3 siblings, same trauma, different trauma narratives. Thank you.